There we go. All right. I think that we're live. I'm going to wait for everyone to tell me if the audio is working this time, because last week we had problems, as many of you guys know, because it seems like we got a lot of reoccurring viewers on this stream, which is great. I like to hear that. What do you think, Mike?
I love it.
Mike loves it. He's with us. We got Mike.
Hello, everyone.
Mike's wearing a jacket because we don't let him have the heat on in the office.
The closet doesn't have any heat.
We're saving money. Say that again. I think some people didn't hear it.
The closet doesn't have heat.
Isn't it really funny when you have to repeat a joke because people don't hear the punchline? You're like, come on, everybody.
It was funny, I swear.
Okay, welcome to the live stream, everybody. This week is going to be a little bit. Shorter than it usually is. Normally we do these streams for an hour, but we are going to do this one for only 30 minutes, which is going to be a half-size one because I'm extremely busy. I got a sick wife and a sick son, and my wife's school has a sick person, and so it's kind of a difficult time. Plus, we're just pretty busy in general, as anyone would know if you've been emailing us. We are, I guess, caught up to within 1 week of inquiries, which seems to be pretty low, but we just got so much work that it's impossible to get it all done. Even with Mike working all by himself here on Saturday to answer emails.
It's true. I want the world's smallest violin to be played.
Yep. Okay, so who do we got in on the live chat? We got Sean Black. Hey, what's up, Sean? What's up to Bill Courtney, who has never missed a stream, or maybe he has, but probably not. The new Super reveal. Yes, I saw it this morning. It looks exactly like I thought it would look, but the Akio Toyoda sure seemed awkward when he was coming out in this. Did you watch it?
I haven't watched the full reveal. I only saw the leaked bits and everything.
Yeah. So he comes out driving the car, and he gets out of the car, and he said something really weird. I can't remember what it was. It was like, oh, I like driving the car so much, I don't want to get out.
Oh. In English?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
And you can tell that, like, you know, he prepared the script in English. Probably doesn't speak that much English on a day-to-day basis. Yeah. And so I'm glad that he was able to at least say something. Yeah. The presentation was mostly just PR spin, and so it wasn't that strong, I think. But, you know, a lot of people are going to hate it. A lot of people are going to like it. I don't really know. What time will tell. The reveal was rather short, so I didn't get to see it very much. All right, who else do we got? Sean Black, Bill Courtney. Bill Courtney, Sean Black. Bill Courtney, Sean Black. Sean Black, Bill Courtney.
It's the Sean Bill
Totally.
Power.
Crypto Messenger, you are a third person. Congratulations to you. You have a question about old E28s. I probably don't know the answer to that. Last week we were talking about a Subaru Legacy Lancaster, and I completely didn't know what I was talking about, and so I had egg on my face. John Clark, yo y'all. Hi John Clark. How y'all doing? I love it when people say y'all, because we really don't say that in Canada, and it makes the person sound very American to us Canadians.
Me too.
Same with you?
Yeah.
You guys.
You never hear it in New Zealand unless someone's trying to sound like an American.
You know what New Zealanders say? They say, instead of how are you doing, they say how are you going.
How you going? Yeah.
Right?
How's it going? How are you going?
How are you going?
Yeah.
By car. Yes, that's the best one. I can say a bad joke and still get somebody to laugh.
By car.
I'm going by car. How are you going? Yeah, the first time someone said that to me, it caught me off guard.
Yeah.
Instead of how are you doing or how are you, it's how are you going. Javier Twins is here. Brendan Morris, Gabrielle Godby, Dan's G8GT. Hello from Chicago. Chicago looks like a nice city. This is a little bit strange, but Chicago, as people from Chicago and the rest of the U.S. know, it's kind of a city that has a bad reputation for violence, crime, that sort of thing. And so I went to the Google image or Google Maps, and I wanted to go into kind of what would be considered the slum areas of the town. And the buildings there, to me, I mean, I'm just looking through Google Images and satellite view. It seemed like a pretty nice place compared to the slums from my city, which are really terrible. Or at least terrible looking, although violence isn't that bad. So I thought that was a little bit interesting. James Parker Andrews here. Johnny B. Good. That's a cool name. John Clark. Something I can't pronounce. Cad Sabrati. Hey, I'm from the Caribbean. Cool, man. Yeah, so we now have 24 people, and I'm just going to repeat, this is going to be half size, 30-minute stream, and so it's open for your guys' questions on how to import cars from Japan to countries all around the world, and also to check some of the cars that are at the auctions at the moment. So you can come to this one here, it's auction.pacificcoastjdm.com, and that will bring you here, and then you can log in using the guest password, and you can go and search the cars all you want. This is free and unlimited. Your Firefox is critically out of date. Update now. I will not. And it's really easy. Mike, name me a car that you would like me to look up as an example for everybody who's watching how to do this.
Stagia. Please.
It might be a little bit hard to hear Mike because Mike doesn't have a mic.
Zing! I'm laughing because you got that so funny.
I've been a dad for too long. Because you can't be extremely funny when you're around minor kids because you have to edit what you say, and so you're always searching for that joke that your kids can understand. Yeah. Nissan Stagia. Oh, and yeah, my children love pun jokes for now. I'm going to give them a few more years before it's the worst thing that they've ever heard.
Before they start going, Dad.
Yeah, and I'm going to look for the ones with the 6-speed because we just found out about those recently. Transmission, 6-speed, see if we can find any. Go to the second screen here. There are 0 with the 6-speed that are available for auction right now. There is a really cool one here. Might as well show you this one because it's good looking. It has nice wheels and body kit on it, so that makes it cool. This version of the Stagia is the less popular version. The more popular one is the one that's based on the Skyline previous generation. This one's based on like the V35 Skyline instead of the R33 Skyline of the previous generation. And so you don't get the RB20 inline 6-cylinder turbo engine. You get in this one usually a 2.5 liter VQ25, or you get a turbocharged version of that. I think it's a single turbo even though it's a V6, so kind of an interesting setup there. They're good, they're cheap. You can't get them with a manual transmission, except for... sign into FaceTime, no thank you. Move that to behind my face. Hello, goodbye. You can get them with a 6-speed manual transmission in the Autech version that comes with a Fairlady engine. So previous version of the Stagia was very cool because it was like a Stagia version of the Skyline. This one's kind of like a Stagia version of the Fairlady, which is also cool. You don't get a turbocharger, but it's still very cool. Rear-wheel drive, 3.5 liter, 280 horsepower, and 6-speed manual with Brembo brakes. It makes for a good package, I think. This one here is an automatic, has cool wheels on it and a body kit, is otherwise not in. Nothing really to write home about. Automatic transmission is kind of a downer for this version, even though it's a great looking car, and I really wish that they did make them in manual other than the special version, because this one here is a 4-wheel drive one. Stagia and 4-wheel drive go hand in hand as, you know, being... It seems to me like a package. It would be like an Impreza coming non-4-wheel drive. Maybe I would like the rear-wheel drive one better. I don't know. Anyways, let's go over the auction sheet here. So it's a 2.5 liter engine. In this one, it's the RS4V Hikas. So that's the 4-wheel steering. Hikas? No. Hikas is the 4-wheel drive system, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's like rear-wheel drive until it slips and then turns into 4-wheel drive. 65,183 kilometers, but there's a $sign next to it because in 2004, January 11th, when there were only 12 kilometers on the clock, the gauges were changed to a Nismo unit, and so the gauges now show 65,171, but the actual is 65,183 kilometers. Body's in good condition. Underside surface rust, left front liner cover is cracked. That tends to sometimes happen when you lower the suspension and put larger wheels on it, because the wheels might hit the inner liner. It would be weird for it to hit hard enough to crack, so possibly that was BS that I just told you. Suspension, exhaust, aftermarket, wheels scratched, various scratches and dents, paint cracks on the front bumper and a scuff, and then the rest of the paint cracks on the side skirt. I think it's good, and I think this will sell for more because it's so good looking. I think these are Nismo wheels on it. So you can typically see this version of the car selling for commonly about 50,000 to 150,000 yen. So that's about $600 to 1,400, 1,300 US dollars or so. This one will probably be a little bit more expensive, so I'm going to guess around $1,800 for it, but still a pretty good deal. You can't import it to the USA. It's not old enough yet. Okay, so let's just shut this down. We're going to go right into your guys' questions and your picks for the auction. So Mike is busily working, checking to see if you've got good questions for me or for him. If you want to ask Mike any personal questions, I would like to hear some of that. You guys don't know about this, but Mike is very secretive in the office. He didn't tell us about his girlfriend until several months after.
No way. It was 1 month max. Maximum.
What's her name? I don't even know. He's not answering.
Damn it! Then I was just like, shit. The secret thing is right.
Yeah, come up with a fake name then. A persona. It doesn't have to be fake. It could be like a screen name or like a rap name.
Oh, a rap name.
Yeah, come up with a rap name for your girlfriend.
Lil Holla. I don't know.
Lil Tay.
It was gonna be Lil something.
Are girls allowed to be Lil? Because isn't that like a boys rap thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Derek, any opinion on rightdrive.ca, rightdriveusa.com? I typically shy away from saying opinion on anyone that is our competition, even though they're not completely our competition. What they are is an import agent and dealer in Canada, as well as the US now. Their business model is to import cars for the purpose of selling or give somebody the service of importing the car through an exporter, and then we're the exporter. So there are, sometimes we get people saying, what are your thoughts on this company, X company, and then we're actually the supplier for that company, which puts us in kind of a weird position. Plus, I don't really like bad-mouthing people because I don't feel like we need to do that really. And so I really shouldn't answer that question. And if you want to know some opinion on that, then you can go and do Google searches or whatever. What I've found from doing so is I've heard that prices are a little bit high for that company for the cars that they import. That being said, I think that that's a common complaint about any business that has to price their cars at a certain amount in order to make any profit. And so I think that I don't think that that's a justifiable reason to be upset or to damage a company's reputation, in my opinion. Yeah, let's go on. Mike, tell me, how are we going to change the subject from that of your little what? Little twist?
I can't even remember what I said.
Little Slurpee?
Where are you going?
I was just trying to think of any sort of noun that I could put into that.
You came up with a few. Would you like a cappuccino?
Yes, please. A little cappuccino.
Little cat.
Little cat.
Arrive 154.
We are a serious company. We only do serious business. Okay, 154. We're looking at a cappuccino. Wow, there are a lot of 154s. So we can find that cappuccino. Mirive?
Mirive, yes. U.S. legal.
Not now. Why does Firefox? That's the third time they've asked us, and we've only had the computer online for 20 minutes this morning. Ridiculous. Okay, so Suzuki Cappuccino, small open-top sports car, good for everything. It's a wonderful car. I was actually emailing somebody yesterday about the Cappuccino, and this is what I said. I said that most of the cappuccinos, like 95% of the cappuccinos that make their way to the USA, are bought from people who want to resell them. And the market for the cappuccinos in the USA is a little bit strange because most people won't want to daily drive these cars, and if they do, they don't want to spend an awful lot of money on it because it's kind of like a small Well, it's seen as a small gimmicky car, even though I don't really think that's the case. I think it's a wonderful car, and it should be daily driven by people who own them. But I think the impression is that why am I going to spend X amount of dollars on a car that's that small and that low of power? And so there is a point to that. But here in Japan, people don't really feel the same way. And so a good one tends to be more expensive than what you can sell them for in the USA. And so if you're looking to import these for resale, you're going to want to go for a fairly bad one in order to have a buyer and have a market for it. That being said, I usually don't recommend buying bad condition ones. And here's another thing too, is the early model ones, like this one's a 1991, the early model ones have 5-digit odometers, so a number of people are importing them. And then, for example, this one here says 126,787, but it also says a 5-digit odometer. On the odometer, this 1 is going to be gone. It'll just say 26,787. And so some people who are importing them are going to say, it has authentic 26,787 kilometers, and just try to find a buyer without mentioning that. In this case, the timing belt was changed at 103,102 according to a history paper for that, including the water pump and the tensioner and the camshaft seal and the water pump was all replaced. Yeah, so I really like the Cappuccinos. I think they handle really well. They're fairly fast. They're turbocharged, so you can get more power out of them. And if you put 80 horsepower into one of these, which is completely possible with stock pieces, they become a very fast car. Stock, they're 64 horsepower, and I think only around 660 kilograms, or like
They feel great to drive. Like, they don't feel
1,400 pounds, 1,500 pounds. I don't know.
2.14.
I can't do my
Yeah.
times 2.2. 660 by times 2.2 would be like 1,700 or something.
Yeah, nothing.
So really lightweight and open top, and this one has a cool aftermarket front bumper, which I think looks really good, as well as a rear spoiler that looks good as well. And you can be sitting in here in the back and then reach out and grab your spoiler, which is very cool because you can't do that in most cars. Not something that is like a sales point for the car. It's not like people are gonna be like do it again. That was funny.
That's the Cappuccino Cruise. Yeah, just in my spoiler as I go.
Yeah, it would be cool if it was an adjustable spoiler, because you can be like driving, and to the person who's next to you, you can try to impress them by going, I feel like I don't have enough downforce, and reach back. That's better. Okay, so condition-wise of this one, it's a grade 3.5 with an interior C and an exterior D. I already read this one here. Aftermarket front and rear bumpers. It's a reasonable looking rear bumper, I think. I think these cars look great with body kits on them. Auto gauge, boost gauge, bucket seat put into it, which may make it really difficult to get in and out of because it's already kind of tight. Defi 3 extra gauges. I guess you can't see where they are. Probably, I don't know. They don't look like they're A-pillar. Oh, here they are in the center console. Fujitsu Bow exhaust and various other aftermarket parts on there. Windshield, rock chip, interior scratched and wear and dirty. 5-digit odometer, so be careful. It may even be 226. We don't really know. Core support has some damage to it that has been repaired. Not enough to make this an R grade, which is a little bit weird. Some of these auctions, like this one here is a Mirai auction, they might have slightly different rules from what's standard. This car may have been considered an R grade, but it is a very small bump. Like, it would have been enough damage on the core support, like somebody ran into me, and then my body damaged it that much, and I'm very light, so probably wouldn't be that much damage. Exterior clear coat is scratched. Dashboard glue marks on it, screw hole, and cracked door mirror paint peeling. Aftermarket steering wheel scratched. Door mirror scratched. Various scratches and dents. This fender was replaced probably at the same time as the damage was done to the core support here. And paint fade and paint peeling up here. You can see that easily in the photo. You can't really see the paint fade here, which is good reason to get used to reading these diagrams instead of looking at the pictures, because although these are fairly clear picture here, look, we have A3 on the front bumper, which is a large scratch, and then you can't see any of it in the picture here, nor can you see any of the fade on the hood. And so pictures really are easy to hide things, and if, like, For example, the USS auctions have really poor quality pictures, and this is off-putting for some people. But even if you have high quality pictures like in these ones, that doesn't necessarily mean that you'll be able to see any of the damage, especially dents. There's a U2 dent in the side here. You wouldn't be able to see the dent here, even at the highest resolution of pictures, because really you need a video in order to tell that. Okay, so that being said, I think this one's probably, let's see, probably worth about 400,000 yen, which puts it a little bit middle to high price range, I think. Might be a little bit less, might be 350 or so. So US dollars 3,000 plus costs. This landed would be about 7,000 or so, I would think. So there it is. Okay. Glad I could catch the live stream, says T.S. Elena. Okay, yeah, but it's a short live stream. We only have another 9 minutes left.
You replied to his email and he said thank you very much.
Oh.
Said your company's A+.
Oh, great. I'm sorry for the reply time for everybody. We're still very much behind. I worked for 2 hours yesterday to reply to emails, even though it's Sunday, just because they just keep coming in and coming in. And our YouTube channel had a big boost in views this last week, and so we're getting a ton more inquiries. Sadly, we don't charge you people enough money in order for us to hire anyone else.
Please be patient with us.
Oh. Yeah. Somebody sent us a drink, Hunts by Chainsaw, a hamburger, and fries. I had McDonald's yesterday for the first time in several months. It was average. But McDonald's in Japan is much better than it is outside of Japan. At each of the McDonald's I've been to.
Someone has asked, how rusty are most of the Jimneys, and would it be worth tracking one down for import into the USA?
Okay, all of the Jimny's called Samurai in the USA. I'll just pull one up here, so those who don't know, now you know. Suzuki Jimny. The Jimny comes in 2 versions. The Jimny and the Jimny Sierra. The Sierra is the 1300cc version. Why are these not coming up? What's going on? Doing this again. And the regular version of the Jimny is a 660cc turbocharged. The Jimny Sierra, or the Jimny Wide, is wider, and so it doesn't fit into the K car category. And I'm just going to input 1994 here so that we get only the US legal ones. You can see right now there are 25 of them up for auction of various shapes and sizes. They're very common off-road vehicles here, so getting lifted ones or ones with modifications to make them better at off-roading is very possible. And then they come in high roof here as well as low roof. So here's a high roof one. I'm going to show you what that looks like. The US didn't get the high roof ones. Oh, bad pictures. Come on. Just as I was saying, it's not a big deal if the pictures are small. This one is, because I wanted to show you it has an extra window in the roof here that's very cool in the high roof ones.
Is that like around the outside, or?
Yes, just like the Defenders.
Oh, sweet.
Let's see if this one has it. No, that's just a roof rack on the top. Okay, so in the USA, all of the Samurais have rusted out by now. Not all of them. Like the southern United States, you'll be able to get non-rusty ones, but rust is very commonly a problem on these. This one may even have rust because you can see the diamond plate attached to it. That's a common modification to cover up rust. You can see it's here too, and so I would be pretty worried about this one because of that. But it does look pretty awesome otherwise. People in the US are into this car because the Samurai wasn't a very popular car when it was first sold in the USA, and then these days people know that these are little mountain goats and they'll climb anywhere because they have a tiny, tiny little wheelbase.
Oh, I like that analogy. The mountain goat of off-roading.
Thank you. I've actually told him before the stream here to please compliment me as much as possible because I'm feeling a little bit like I'm not getting enough compliments.
Compliments in the chat.
Yeah. Just like last time, do you remember? Everybody, please send me free money. And then they did. Yeah, and so the short wheelbase makes a huge difference in off-roading because it helps with your ground clearance, and then the tires are pushed as far forward and as far back as you possibly can on a chassis like this. And then aftermarket support is very big, plus solid front and solid rear axle. And in this version, and any of the versions I think before like 1993 or 1994, they moved over to spring suspension. And the spring suspension is better for on-road, but off-road, leaf suspension is easier to lift if you're going to lift with shackles. So yeah, wonderful vehicles. It's pretty easy to get them non-rusty, but you end up paying a little bit more for the non-rusty ones because people in Japan typically aren't going to go for something that's going to be rusty, and these are still widely popular here in Japan, and so the price is determined not only on US prices but also Japan prices. That's kind of a mix of both, which is fairly rare, as most vehicles that are 25 years old, people in the US will pay more than almost any other market worldwide. The Jimny is just a bit of an exception there. Prices, you can get them for under 200,000, but that's pretty rare. I usually would say 200,000 to like 450,000, and then if you want an extreme good one, you can pay a little bit extra on top of that. And so US dollars, that would be about $1,800 to for 3,500 US dollars plus import costs. So landed 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, that sort of range. And then turbocharged 660cc engine gives you better fuel economy, and it's still 64 horsepower. It's not that slow, and turbocharged if you want to get extra power out of it. So I think all around great vehicle, and we sell them somewhat frequently, but I think that they're cooler vehicles than the frequency of sales that we make.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. How much do Miras go for? I don't know. Miras? It depends on what year, I guess. They were sold for a very long time. Tell me the year and I'll let you know. Derek needs the love because my wife is sick. She's just getting over it though, but she had laryngitis and so she couldn't speak to me. I don't know if laryngitis is a real word. As a kid, that's what I called it.
Laryngitis? Yeah.
Like when you can't speak?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
I don't.
Thank you. I'm waiting for the compliments, actually.
Damn, Derek, you know so many big words.
That one has four syllables. Wait. Laryngitis. If you speak it in Japanese, there are even more syllables.
Yeah,
But that's not a Japanese word.
Wait, Derek, you can speak it in Japanese as well? Wow.
I don't. No, Ko?
Yes.
I'm doing a Japanese class here on live stream, and I need your help. Do you know the sickness where you can't speak anymore? What's that called in Japanese? Like, I can't speak because I'm sick.
声が枯れて話せない。声が枯れた。
So there's no word for it.
Voice is gone is 声が枯れた。
Okay. Hanase.
話せない。I cannot speak. 話せない。
Yeah. I cannot speak. Okay. So is koe
声が枯れた。
ga
Voice is gone.
kareta.
No
Voice
way.
is gone.
Derek, you're impressive.
So, you know, I said I went to McDonald's, right? I ordered McDonald's through the drive-thru, and everyone in my car was like rolling out of their seatbelts laughing at me speaking, because usually my family doesn't hear me speak Japanese that often because I speak only English at home.
Yeah.
my wife got her iPad and started recording me doing it. And my daughter's like, "Dad, you're so dumb." She didn't actually. That's probably what she was thinking. I would have given her a spanking if she said that. I'm sorry, everyone, that we only have the half-size stream this week, only 30 minutes, and so we're going to have to scoot out of here in about 1 minute. We probably have enough time for one more either question or car to look at. What do you think would be a good one, Mike?
So, I guess T.S. Alana is saying realistically, if she's looking, he or she.
Oh, I
is
see
looking
that
at
one.
Auctions. Yeah.
Realistically, if we look at the upcoming auction listings in your site and want to bid on something, how much advance notice do you need? Okay, so typically these cars come up for auction between 1 to 4 days before the auction time. And that means that if you are not registered to purchase right away, it might be really easy to miss that car. I would say the majority of them would be up 2 days before the auction. And if you catch a car and you have 2 days, then you have enough time to set up the account. And the reason why it takes a little bit of time is because you need to send in assigned terms of service, which for one, it's a contract. So this is like a legally binding business contract kind of thing. So you don't want to gloss over it. You want to take your time to read it. And if you have any questions, then get those answered before you decide on being pressured to bid because there's a car you really like up. And so that step is very important to get done before you find the car. Secondly, the security deposit that we need to make sure that you're actually going to come through with payment is basically like this. You send us close to $1,000, depends on the exchange rate because it's 100,000 yen, but about $850 as a security to make sure that you're going to come through with the final payment. Because if we buy this Jimny and you decide not to pay for it, then we still have to buy it. And if we allowed bidding without a security deposit to be sent in, there would be more people who would bid on cars, win, and then go, oh, I didn't think I was going to win, and so I don't have the money for this, which is funny because it actually does happen even with people who have sent in deposits. I assume that we would go out of business, and every exporter is like that. And the reason why I want to explain this so much is because we just had somebody email and say that we're trying to scam people because we won't do business with you until you've sent in a deposit. But that's not the case. We, like all companies, want to stay in business so we can continue selling
business, yeah.
selling things, and I personally like to receive a paycheck, and I'm sure everyone else in the office here does too. And so it is a security on our side that we really need to have. And the security that you guys have is our reputation, because we've been in business for 10 years now. I have no water today, so I can't talk. I know it's in my bag right there, but here I am, like 1 minute before the end. I hope I'm not coming down with something. This week's going to be really busy for me. Yeah, but that's the gist of it. We would be at too much risk of shutting down if we allowed people to bid on cars without a security deposit for us. And then it also shows that you're serious about buying too, because I would say that of the emails that we get, and we get 10 or 15 a day in many days, 80 to 90% of those don't come through with a purchase. And then any time that we take helping customers is time taken away from the customers that are regularly purchasing from us, whom we always have as higher priority, and that's why it takes so long to get back to email inquiries. We don't want to be a company that prioritizes signing new customers to get the money in at the expense of customers we're already working with that are already serious about buying. And so in that respect, I think it's hard for people on the outside to really understand why it might take so long for us to get back to you. And the simple answer really is, once you're signed up, then you get all of our attention. And so then you can get your emails back within a few minutes in many cases. Okay, how can we contract you? I think he meant contact. All that information is on our website, and there's a link in the description, I believe, to go to our website. If not, it's pretty easy. Our website is www.pacificcoastjdm.com. And then right here in the contact, in the top corner. Important note, we are currently experiencing more inquiries than we can handle in a timely manner at the current moment. Please expect 1 to 2 weeks for a reply. Sorry for the inconvenience. At the moment, it's actually 7 days, so it's a little bit faster, but I'm sorry, we're stuck in between wanting to help our customers for a reasonable price and having enough money to hire enough people to reply to you in a timely manner. And replies take a really, really long time, especially if we have to look up something for you. So for me, I can just burn through a lot of them pretty quickly, but Mike, who is handling most of them, it can be really hard to know every single car, what they cost, what's better about one car against another one, and then we want to answer you with as much information as possible and not seem like we're just trying to get rid of you. You know, it would be so easy to say, what's that link? Go Google it.
Oh, yeah.
There's a link that Mike showed me. It's like,
Just fucking Google it. I don't know if that's okay to say.
that didn't come up with anything. Oh no, here it is. Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, it's something similar, basically. So, yeah, we do get an awful lot of questions that would be very easy to handle by Googling, but it's our job kind of to show that we're not running away from your questions. So, anyways, gonna have to cut it off there. Thanks, everybody. Sorry I couldn't get to everybody's questions nor everybody's cars that they wanted to look at, but we're doing a half-size stream this week simply because I definitely don't have enough time to do the full 1 hour stream this time. So, say goodbye to Mike.
Bye. Wait, I'm saying goodbye to Mike?
No, the
Bye,
people
Mike?
are going to say goodbye to Mike,
Oh.
and Mike can say goodbye at the same time, unless
Bye.
you really hate people.
I do not. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
You loathe them.
Yes, I'm a people hater.
Naoko, say goodbye.
Bye. See
Mike's not a people hater. Okay, goodbye everybody. See you again next week when hopefully we will be less busy than we are. All right, bye for now.